What's up everybody, my name is Big Cam. Welcome back to another Comically Boston weekly nerdy news podcast, which I record every Monday, but it seems like most of the time I end up getting these posted by Monday night. But just know when I say that, I'm recording it Monday morning. Maybe eventually I'll start doing these like live Monday mornings if I can get around to it. We're still working on it. We're working on getting this channel monetized and getting to 1,000 subscribers and watch time and all that. We're getting pretty close, so thank you guys for the support. If you've enjoyed these videos, please continue to keep liking them, hitting that bell so you don't miss future videos, subscribing if you're new. All those things help the channel grow. Commenting below, liking the videos are a great way to help the videos get out into the algorithm. But once again, my name is Big Cam, and this is the weekly nerdy news. Not too big a week, so we're just gonna go through some movie posters, a little bit of Rotten Tomato scores that came out, some debuts. There's a popcorn bucket to look at for an upcoming film, and then there's, at the end of this, there's a Marvel topic that I want to chat about. And Mark Ruffalo was just recently talking about a solo Hulk movie and why it might not happen, but he might be open to it, you know. So we'll be talking Hulk at the end of today's episode. But just jumping right on into it, the first movie poster I want to check out here is a movie called Send Help, and this is from director Sam Raimi, who I love and did things like the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, did Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and that's probably where he met Rachel McAdams, and she seems to be really covered in dirt and blood, and it seems like they're on a plane and they crash land and they have to survive, and it's just her and this other person that's like strangers, and they end up having to like work together to survive. At least I think is what the premise of this movie is. The trailer, I didn't watch the full thing, but it looked pretty damn good, and people were like, yo, this looks sick. And this is coming into theaters January 30th, and at the top it says, meet Linda Little. She's from strategy and planning. Oh, so she's just like somebody that works for a company. She's with strategy and planning, and her name is Linda Little. And we're gonna follow Linda Little as she crash lands with this plane and then has to get home and find a way out of there. I don't know, but it looks interesting. Now, this next poster is for I believe a former Broadway play that they're making into a film, and it's called Merrily We Roll Along, a Maria Friedman film, and it's starring Daniel Radcliffe, Jonathan Groff, and Lindsay Mendez, and it's only in theaters from the legendary Stephen Sondheim. Oh, so this was a Stephen Sondheim play, I believe, and then it's made into a movie, and it says in the middle there, hey old friends, how do we stay old friends? So maybe it's a movie about friendship. It looks like it's PG-13, so not going to be like crazy raunchy or anything like that, but interesting. Daniel Radcliffe doing another movie play-esque type thing. I'm into it. I'm going to check it out when it comes out. I don't know if it has a release date yet. I don't see one, so yeah, probably 2026 film, I'm guessing. Another 2026 film coming to theaters January 6th, a movie called Primate. Just yet another movie with a monkey in it, or about a monkey, or with a monkey in the title, you know, where Monkey Man came out a couple years ago. Nope had a monkey in it, and it was pretty weird. I think there was another movie that just called Monkey that came out recently, and now Primate. It says something's wrong with Ben, and I wonder if Ben is like a boy and then ends up turning into a primate, or Ben is the primate and then he ends up just getting fed up and angry with the family, and then shows them what a primate can do and how they are not human, and they can rip our limbs right off our bodies and tear our face off, our skin off our face, and yeah, chimps and apes are not to be messed with. You know, like, so I'm sure this, just for this poster alone, it looks like a horror movie. I don't know if I'll be here for it, but certainly interested to see if people are enjoying that and what the Rotten Tomato score for that might be, and like when a trailer finally comes out for that, for me to see it. I'm at least curious enough to see, like, is it a full horror movie? Like, what is the deal with this? I'm not sure. I didn't read a premise or anything for it. All I have is this weird poster with an ape looking sad in the corner and a teddy bear on the ground next to him. So I don't know what the deal is with this poor ape, but don't harm chimpanzees. Another movie coming out from Neon, and Neon presents The Secret Agent, and this is following obviously a secret agent in Brazil, 1977, A Time of Great Mischief, and it is starring Wagner Moreira, who I know best from his work in Narcos as Pablo Escobar, and he absolutely crushed it in Narcos as Pablo. But now if you see him, he's looking much skinnier, and he most recently I saw in Civil War last year, I believe, that came out. It was like a photography film with Kirsten Dunst and Kaylee Spaney. Pretty good movie, and Wagner was pretty damn good in that as well. And looks like he's a leading man in this movie about a secret agent in the 70s in Brazil, 1977. Either way, so maybe a foreign film, but either way, I'm going to check this one out. This looks interesting, and I really like Wagner as an actor. Now, a movie that came out earlier this year that many of people are calling the best film of 2025, and that is called Weapons, with Julia Gardner, and I believe Josh Brolin's also in there, but very creepy, horror, spooky season-esque movie that I might do in the next coming weeks, or actually coming up this week. This film will be coming to HBO Max, streaming October 24th, so this Thursday, this Friday, I might check out Weapons, coming to a TV screen near me. So, very creepy movie. Wasn't interested. You know, I'm not really a horror movie guy unless it's spooky season, Halloween time. So this might be the one and only time of the year that I would watch this film. So I might have to capitalize on that and just force myself through it. And then by the end of it, I'll probably be like, yeah, it was a really good film. Way too scary for me. I'm not going to rewatch it. But things like that, I at least want to try one time and just see what the hype's about. You know what I mean? See why people are enjoying this so much and talking about it. And like, you know, if it's that well talked about and raved about, it's gotta be something, you know, at the very least it's gotta be different and just wild and a good story. But another thing that looks different and wild, I just saw the other day, Mason Thames, I believe, is the kid in this movie. Yep, Mason Thames, who I think was also just the young boy who played, I forget the character's name, but How to Train Your Dragon, the young kid. And Black Phone 2 is, I haven't seen the first one, but from just what he was talking about, it looks like the first movie, the demon guy here, played by Ethan Hawke, was killed in the first movie, and he's haunting his dreams in the second one. And the second one, they're away at like a winter camp, so it's all icy and cold. And just from the one trailer I saw, he's like talking in a phone booth, and he's like, "Why are you? You're dead. You're not supposed to be here." And he's like, "Dead is just a word." And he pops up right behind him, and it was just like a teaser trailer on like a late night show trying to like do press for this film, and I was like scared out of my pants just from this one little jump scare, and I was like, not my vibe at all. But Ethan Hawke is a tremendous actor, so I might have to see what his work's like as this demon character, because it looks incredibly scary, but also like, you know, pretty good horror film. And it debuted, because it just came out, I believe, last Friday into theaters, and it's a rated R movie now playing. It's an hour and 54-minute horror film, and is currently sitting at a 73% critic score with 109 critic reviews, and it's certified fresh with that 73% score. Seems like a pretty low certified fresh. What is the margin cutoff there? 70% maybe? So maybe, you know, a couple more reviews it goes down, maybe loses its certified fresh, but for the current moment, certified fresh, and its audience score is 87% with 250 plus certified reviews. So, interesting. It's doing well. Critics not so well, but still certified fresh. But from just what I've seen, it looks scary and not my vibe. But comment below, was the Black Phone 1 good enough that like I should check it out? Now, a movie I've been talking about over the last few weeks for sure is now out in some select theaters and will be out on Netflix November 7th. And I'm dying to see Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein with Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi as the monster himself, Mia Goth, and Christoph Waltz, one of my favorite actors, and it says only monsters play God. Ooh, and then he released some character posters, so you have Oscar Isaac here as, I believe, Dr. Frankenstein himself. I love the little red vest he has underneath his clothing and his red jackets, how that's making it pop. I really want to see Oscar Isaac back as Moon Knight as well. You have Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein's monster here, and I can't wait to see a full look of this guy, because I mean, look at his face. It just looks like pieces of him make up this body, and I have a feeling the look of him is going to look incredible. Like Guillermo del Toro's vision and artistry of his work is just top level, so I can picture this movie being grotesque but also insanely colorful and beautiful, like Mia Goth's poster here where she's got this colorful blue beautiful dress. She's got to be playing the bride of Frankenstein, I would think, but wow, crazy. And then the last character, who I haven't even really seen in the trailers, but Christoph Waltz will also be in this Frankenstein movie, and he's one of my favorite actors of this generation. He's incredible. He was in a TV show on Amazon Prime called The Consultant, I believe, or it might have been on something else, but I think it was called The Consultant with Christoph Waltz, and it was a TV show, but it was really spooky and really good, and he crushes it as that like weird character. And like I think the whole premise of it was like his skeleton is made out of gold, so he's really heavy. I don't know, it was creepy, but it was like a good show. It was a good mystery to unfold, you know what I mean? And then this last poster is an IMAX poster made by an artist named James Jean, I believe. James Jean Art on Twitter and stuff. Go check him out. But this IMAX poster is beautiful. It looks like Frankenstein's monster's skin got peeled open, and it's like flowers on the inside, and like maybe that's Mia Goth's character with long red hair, and then there's looks like a body and a mummy casket on the left side there. Wow, what a beautiful, like, I just so abstract and creepy and weird, but also like I can't take my eyes off it. It's fascinating. It's such a beautiful artwork. I love art in many different facets. But Frankenstein debuted after coming out in theaters over the last weekend. It is a 2.5 hour film, by the way, 2 hour 29-minute rated R horror film. And this film received an 82% certified fresh critic score with 104 critic reviews, and yet to get a audience score yet the last time I looked. But I'm very curious to see if audiences are enjoying this and what their thoughts on it. But very cool, and I want to see that in theaters. If it's playing near me, I'll go check it out, but if not, I can wait 2 weeks to see it on Netflix, and I for sure will be watching it when it drops on Netflix, because that movie looks fascinating. Speaking of fascinating movies, Predator Badlands is right around the corner, November 7th. We're closing in on this movie as well. And we were talking about the movie posters and the trailer for this that came out recently, and we were breaking it down on the channel, so if you haven't seen that trailer reaction or breakdown, go check that out. But there's some popcorn buckets from Regal, and it looks like his spaceship here is going to be a popcorn bucket for the Predator Badlands. And it looks like there's like a little miniature maybe deck, or maybe that's like his brother or something next to the spaceship, and you get a little miniature Predator to go along with your popcorn bucket. Very cool. Dune Part 3 is confirmed to be filming, and from what I know of it so far, I had heard it started filming a while ago, and Timothée Chalamet wasn't there, so they must have been filming a bunch of the other stuff that they need to film. And Josh Brolin said he filmed his stuff for Part 3 already, and he's already back. So if that says anything, he's not in the movie much, so maybe he dies quickly and then, you know, he's wrapped, so why stick around if your character's dead? Or maybe he, you know, is just in it briefly and, you know, he disagrees with the character, so the character leaves him behind type thing. I don't know. I have a feeling Josh Brolin's character of Gurney dies quickly in the third film, which would be upsetting. But Timothée Chalamet has confirmed that Dune 3 is loading, and he is in the desert, and he's about to start shooting his stuff for Dune Part 3. So hopefully that film's coming in 2026 sometime, and that might be my most anticipated movie of 2026, and if it gets moved to 2027, it's my most anticipated movie of 2027, which is saying something, because Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars both come out in 2026 and 2027. And yet I still want to see Dune more than that, which is just shocking to me. Because obviously I'm a huge Marvel guy, and I'm a huge Hulk fan as well. Obviously you can see the shirt I got on here. I'm really dying to see Hulk and Red Hulk go up against each other. But just the other day, Mark Ruffalo was in a interview that I watched. I believe it was with GQ magazine or maybe Variety or one of those. But he was asked about, you know, making a solo Hulk film, and he says it's not really owned by Marvel. It's Hulk is a Universal property, and he says I don't know if it will ever really come to be. Honestly, we keep talking about it, what it would be. And there's been so many Hulk movies already, it's like, does anyone really want another one? But I want one. I think audiences would be into it if we could crack it, you know? So it seems Ruffalo is here for a Hulk solo film, but he's also like, there's been many of Hulk solo films in the past. I mean, there was in a 2003 Hulk, which I loved with Ang Lee, but wasn't critically acclaimed or anything like that. And then there was the 2008 Ed Norton Incredible Hulk. Other than that, those are the only two Hulk movies that have ever been made. I don't think that's too many Hulk movies. Like, what are you talking about? And if he's talking about his work in the MCU, I mean, Avengers, Age of Ultron, none of those are Hulk-centered movies. Sure, he's in them, but they're not solo films like Incredible Hulk or 2003's Hulk. And I want to see that Gladiator Hulk back that we saw in Thor Ragnarok, which was probably the closest thing we had to a Hulk solo film, but yet it's still Thor Ragnarok. It wasn't even Thor and Hulk, you know what I mean? Like, Deadpool 3 is Deadpool and Wolverine. Almost splitting that movie as a solo movie for both of them. You know, like, you could almost count Deadpool and Wolverine as a solo movie for Wolverine as much as you could for Deadpool. You cannot do that for Hulk in Thor Ragnarok. As cool as it is to see Gladiator Hulk and Hulk talking, and, you know what I mean, that he's been on this Ragnarok or Sakaar for multiple years fighting, you know, it's not a solo Hulk film. And, you know, even his cousin, She-Hulk, got a whole show. Bruce Banner hasn't even got that. You know what I mean? Like, so even if it's not a movie and they want to give us a Hulk show, I wouldn't be mad at that either. But even with, whether it's with Universal or without Universal, or Universal sell the rights back to Marvel, whatever it is, Universal pay for the film, whatever it is, I want to see a solo Hulk film, and I want that solo Hulk film to be World War Hulk. And I want to see Gladiator Hulk. I want to see Mark Ruffalo back as Hulk, angry, with the Gladiator armor, but with the smart brain. I want him to be able to talk, well, maybe a little bit less smart. You know what I mean? Still intelligent enough that he can Hulk mad. Fuck you. You know, like, I want to hear Hulk tell somebody to fuck off, and I don't want to just hear him go, "Rah, rah." You know, like, I want to hear, like, almost in the animation, like, Hulk is still an angry, ferocious beast, but he still has that Hulk mad, Hulk not angry, you're a pussy, ah, you know, like, fucking Hulk has always been this character to me that in the movies he doesn't speak until he gets to Ragnarok, and then he's the mix of both worlds of, like, speaking and angry, and, you know, when he's angry, he's roaring, and when he's not, he's still kind of speaking. But then he gets to Smart Hulk, and that's just Mark Ruffalo. You know what I mean? We've lost the Hulk. It's just Mark Ruffalo looking as this guy with a sweater. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the Hulk anymore. And I think World War Hulk could do one of two things for Hulk. It could bring him back to being angry and ferocious in this Gladiator Hulk, but it could keep the brain aspect of it, that he's talking. We could get an actual origin story for his son Scar, how that came to be, who's the mom, you know what I mean? Like, we can get all of that from this movie, you know, and it could all be set in the time when he's trapped on Sakaar. Like, it doesn't even need to be a separate film entirely, you know, like, in add on to what's doing it right now. It could just be a flashback to Gladiator Hulk when he was there and the time he was there after Age of Ultron. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm really here for a solo Hulk movie. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Do you think a solo Hulk movie with Mark Ruffalo will ever happen? And if it does happen, would you want it to be World War Hulk or the Immortal Hulk or something along those lines? Would you want it to be Planet Hulk? You know, like, what would you want to see from a solo Hulk movie? I'd love to hear those comments down in the comment section below, or send those to me on my other social medias. Links for those down in the description below. But I really want Ruffalo to play the Hulk for many more years, and I want to see him get a solo frickin' film. And if at the very least, if he doesn't get the solo film, maybe we get some more angry Hulk. I mean, he is supposed to show up in Spider-Man Brand New Day, so maybe we get some Hulk action in that. But what would be the Hulk, like what would the Hulk be fighting in a Spider-Man movie? You know what I mean? Unless he's fighting Punisher and Spider-Man, and like Spider-Man's trying to hold Hulk back, and maybe he's going on an angry rampage again. You know, I would love to see that, but we don't know if that's the case. You know, maybe it's a Hulk versus Red Hulk movie type of thing, where it's just like seeing these Hulks square off again, kind of like Incredible Hulk was, where it was Abomination versus Hulk in the streets of Harlem. You know, like that was pretty crazy for 2008. And sure, it doesn't look as good as it could have today, but going back and watching that movie, it still holds up pretty well. But the Hulk design, I wasn't really here for the Edward Norton Hulk as I was for, say, like the 2012 Avengers 1 Hulk. And even so, from that movie into Age of Ultron, into everything that the Hulk showed up in after that, he grew as a character, you know, and he changed a little bit. The technology grew, you know, to the point now where this Hulk in Avengers Endgame is fully the Hulk, but with Mark Ruffalo's DNA in it. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how detailed the Hulk has gotten. And he used to just be like this generic close enough to Ruffalo head, and now he's like got Ruffalo's facial structure underneath the hulked out body. You know, like, it's crazy the technology and what they're able to do today. But Universal, stop fucking around and make a goddamn Hulk movie. I mean, when's the last time Universal made a Hulk movie? If the only thing you're doing with Hulk is that one ride in Universal, come on, come on, come on. Keep the ride, sell the rights to the movies back to Marvel. Do the right thing, please. But other than Hulk news, the only other Marvel stuff I could really talk about is speculating that Avengers Secret Wars, I think, might end up being Avengers versus X-Men rather than Avengers Secret Wars. Or maybe it's still called Avengers Secret Wars, but when we get into it, it's really just going to be an Avengers versus X-Men. And it very well could be Avengers versus X-Men in Avengers Doomsday, but then there's the whole Doctor Doom of it all. So, you know, maybe Avengers Doomsday is Doctor Doom the same kind of way Avengers Infinity War, Thanos shows up and beats the Avengers, but they're all separate, right? So he beats T'Challa in Cap, he beats Hulk in space with Thor, you know, they kind of separates them. He beats Tony in the Guardians on Titan, you know, so they're all separate. He doesn't fight all of them together until Endgame, and then they win because they all join together to face him, you know what I mean? So maybe Avengers Doomsday is Doctor Doom bringing together the Avengers from this timeline, the X-Men from the old timeline, maybe a New World's X-Men, maybe some other people we're not sure of, maybe a Nova, you know, maybe some new characters, not necessarily all old people, but, you know, even if it is just all the old universes, maybe it's the Ghost Rider, maybe it's the Fantastic Four, maybe it's the X-Men, you know what I mean, the original X-Men and that type of shit, and then he puts them all on Battle World, and then Secret Wars is them all fighting against each other, you know, or maybe that's all takes place in Doomsday and they're going up against each other and we see like Wolverine versus Cyclops, you know what I mean, and stuff like that we never necessarily got to see in the original movies. Or like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man versus Wolverine, you know what I mean? Like weird matchups like we would have never thought to see in a million years, like a Nightcrawler versus Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards, you know what I mean? Like, there's some certain things that could happen in Avengers Doomsday and matchups that we could have never imagined seeing that could take place in that movie, and then Secret Wars ends up being we have to join forces, Avengers and X-Men, to take down Doctor Doom type of thing. Or, you know, maybe they lose and they all get heated in Avengers Doomsday and then Doom just like fucks off, and then a Secret Wars is Avengers versus X-Men, and then there's a, you know, Secret Wars Part 2 that ends up being like more like Endgame where they defeat Doctor Doom. I don't know, that's all just speculation and theories from me, but I'd love to hear your thoughts and theories down below about Avengers Doomsday, Secret Wars, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about World War Hulk in a solo Hulk movie. Do you guys ever think that will happen? And I'd love to hear your thoughts about everything else we talked about today, whether it's Black Phone 2, weapons, Send Help, the Frankenstein movies, Dune Part 3. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts down in the comment section below, or you can message me on my other social medias. Links for those down in the description below. Once again, my name is Big Cam, 2 G's in the Big. Pretty much anywhere, just look for the space and you'll find me. Thank you guys so much for supporting. And if you've made it this far in the video and you would like to support the channel, the best way to do that is liking this video, commenting down in the comment section below, subscribing if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss next week's Comically Boston Weekly Nerdy News podcast that comes out every Monday. And once again, my name is Big Cam, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace!